welcome to Oh So Inspired for March 15th, 2018. This week we were all given a inspiration by Stamp Your Art Out with Rachel, oh boy, Tessman, who was a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And what it is a card box holder, and obviously cards go in it. Now the thing is, it was for little note cards. So we were also given, well, her blog had measurements, which I've scribbled all over. This is a 12 by 12 inch piece of paper. And this piece here makes that, most of that holder here, except for a little flap up at the top, which you're supposed to use a coordinating piece of cardstock. So, and she had already made her cards, but I didn't really see where she gave the measurements for the cards. So, you know, silly me. I went ahead and made this thing according to the instructions because I've never done anything like this particular format before. And then I realized I didn't have any cards that size because it needed 3-inch wide by 5-inch tall note cards, and it's supposed to hold 4 note cards. So, okay, I made the note cards. And then I made envelopes for the note cards, but you know what? The envelopes didn't fit in. So, let me show you my first one. I actually made 2, because lessons learned, you know, I have to get better and try it again. So this is my first one. Isn't it cute? Oh, and I have to mention, I'm still on a 1 paper pad collab challenge kind of thing, also with Jan's Crazy Life, MB Gray Designs, and Perfectly Imperfect Crafts, I believe it is, Kat, and myself, just the 4 of us. And I am using all month for everything this paper pad, which is Susan Wingett by K & Company. It's one of the 2 Susan Wingetts that I've been able to find. And I think this one is just called Butterfly, but it really doesn't say that on here. There's no label to that effect. And I got it at Joann's a while back, and I have 2 of them. But this has 36 sheets. It has 19 left in it, but I got some quite a few big scraps still. So I have other projects that I'm working on too. And I'm hoping by the end of this week, I'll at least only have the 19 pieces of paper left. So this is the first one, and this ribbon is just loosely tied around. It's actually a very springy ribbon. It has blue, yellow, pink in it, and so does the paper. This paper. And I made a little bow, and with my 1, 2, 3 punch board. And it's the extra small. Can you believe that's extra small? But it fit perfectly on here. And I have a little piece of background paper, and I just rounded the 4 edges. Now this piece here was in my scrap box, and it's the only piece other than cardstock that I used, and I really shouldn't have done that, but I did anyway. And I closed it with Velcro. So you open it up, and here's the box. And let's see how it does. And then here are my 4 note cards. They're all just thank yous. And they're each a little different. In the instructions that we got, this part over here, these 4, they used on the cards, and how they did it. They had 2 going down the side like I did on this one. And then they had this one going across this way, but I didn't like how that looked, so I stuck it in the middle. And then they did have a scallop on theirs, but they also had background stamping, and I didn't do it. So This pink and creamy color cardstock is from, oops, sorry, this Wedding Neutrals pack, which I really like. It was a hot buy from Michael's, and I've been using that too. It's getting thinner, but over time. Anyway, so I had 2 pink ones and 2 creamy colored ones, and these are the last 2 little bows I had in white satin, so I used them. I think they were from Paper Studio, but I couldn't swear to that. The little scallop is from a different sheet of paper out of the same paper pad. Oh, goodness me. And it has little, you probably can't see it, but it's got little background words on it. And then these little hearts I punched out with this little punch I got at Tuesday morning a while back. And I just put one on each. And the ink I used, oh, I'm going to forget what thank you this is. Oh no, I think, hang on. That was from here. It was from the Inkadinkadoo. Thank you. And the ink I used was Memento Angel Pink or Memento Summer Sky. And I also used these distress markers in Spun Sugar and Stormy Sky. So how I did this is, I think on the pink backgrounds I used a pink Spun Sugar around the edges, but I used the blue Summer Sky Memento ink. And they're just plain inside. I didn't put white paper in or anything. So the cream one, I used Stormy Sky around the edges, and then the Angel Pink to say stamp the thank you. So I just made them pretty basic. This one, same technique here, but it just looked like it needed a little something, and I didn't want to put another bow. So these pearl blings actually had been gifted to me last year in my second pocket letter swap by Sweetheart Creations. Lori. So I think her name was Lori. Anyway, I can never find those, but I used 2 green and a pink to kind of bring out the green and pink in the paper. And then this one, before I found those pearls, I had remembered I had those little, I can't find them right now, but anyway, I've used them in previous projects, some blue bling, and I thought they looked pretty on there. So that's that. But because I can't fit the envelopes in, which I made out of, oops, the same paper pad with my 1-2-3 punch board. To make these, it takes a 7 by 7 inch piece of card stock. So I had to use a couple different papers. This one is the same paper I made the box with. So I have 2 in the same paper, and then this one is a different one, but I just used the back of it on the outside, and this is a different one. I thought that was really, that's pretty cool paper. It's got like lacy, you know, look to it. So because these don't fit in there with the cards, oh, and I did a Velcro to close it. Then, and you have to kind of line it up weird. Then I just tied this all together so that the envelopes are with the little cards. So that is the first one. And I will show you the second one in a minute. So this one's very pastel and springy. So that's number 1. And then the second one, I went with one of the papers that I wasn't really loving on. Very bright and cheerful though, and I actually, when I got done with it, I really kind of liked how these turned out, and I'll show you in a minute. But this is it. It was the yellow and green paper, and I thought, I don't know. These, this is just a bunch of 4 pieces of flour out of this Prima flour tube, which I'm trying to use. And this bling is a button, which I've used one of them in the past that I got for $1.05 somewhere on sale. Don't know. And then I also closed it with Velcro, but I did 2 dots this time, one on each side. And this one, if you'll notice, is a little bigger because I recalculated to allow for the envelope. So instead of cutting a 12 by 7.5 inch piece, I used 12 by 8.5, and you had to score it at 2 1/8 instead of 1 7/8, which of course then these changed, but that's okay. I did something different anyway. But the note cards are still 5 inches tall by 3 inches wide, so you had to make 5 inches tall by 6 inches wide piece of paper, and then obviously score it and cut it in half. And there's a coordinating card stock in the video that was part of the blog, and that is 3 3/4 by 4 3/4, and I believe I had to change that to 4 1/4 by 4 3/4. I didn't write that down. I should have. Anyway, here are the envelopes and cards that I did. This is the envelope, and this is the same paper with just using the green on the outside. That's the first card. So what I used here is I have a Stampin' Up! Daisy Delight set, and I used the daisy, and I also used the thank you. And for the background here, I used Memento New Sprout and Memento Dandelion, and I just went sort of all different places. I like the sort of light and bright colors that bring out the colors of the paper. And then the thank you, which was out of that same kit, I used Bamboo Leaves, a darker green, and I put it on pretty heavy because I'm not the best stamper, and I was really afraid these weren't going to come out, but it came out pretty good. So what I did here is I took one scrap of this paper and put it upside down so the green edging would show, and then the other scrap on top of it. So the green edging, I just put it over a little bit, and because they were both little strips, 3 inches long, and I think about 1 3/4 wide. So since they were the same size, I just moved this one over, glued it down, and then glued this one on top. And that's that, and I left them blank inside for now. So that's the first one. The second one, which actually probably was my first one, I didn't have the green border in it. So I did 2 without the green border and 2 with. I like them better with, but I just, for the set. Anyway, I thought they came out really, really pretty. And green is not my favorite color, but I'm springy. I'm ready, so ready for spring. So this is a different paper, but because I didn't have any other green papers. And look, it's a stripe pattern, but look how that came out. They line up. That was not intentional, guys. I did good, and I didn't even try that time. And then this one also doesn't have the stripe. So they're all pretty much the same. And same thing, the envelope lines up. And then I, of course, had to have one boo-boo. I had one more 7-inch square, I thought, but I must have cut it wrong because this little envelope came out too short. And I don't know what I did, guys, but I was putting it on the machine. I must have cut the square too short or something on one side, and or on all sides. I don't know. But it wasn't coming out, so I didn't have any more green in the paper pad, so I went with this paper that had sort of a yellowy background. I thought, it matches better than most of the other ones. So I have one oddball. Well, I have 2 that match and 2 that are different, but at least this one matches the package. So they're just for me anyway, but that one had the green backing here too. So that is my share for Oh So Inspired. I hope you enjoyed it. I love learning all these new techniques. So some other people are probably going to do something completely different, but I wanted to learn how to make these folds and make this box. And it was a little tricky the first time, but then once I got it, I was like, oh wow, that's not so hard. I can do this. And making the box really did not take much time. Decorating the cards, of course, takes more time, and figuring out the measurements so that my envelopes would fit in the box this time. So I don't know, maybe I made the note cards too big in here and then the envelopes wouldn't fit, but they're tied onto the back, so they're still a set. So I hope you enjoyed it. My 2 little boxes of note cards, thank you cards. So yeah, they were fun and totally different look, but out of the same paper pad, excuse me, 12 by 12 paper pad. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Please go check out all the other collaborators in the Oh So Inspired, which is hosted by Call Me Crafty Owl, Alicia. Hi, Alicia. Should have said that in the beginning, but I will have a link below in the description to all the other collaborators. All right. Have a wonderful Thursday, and I'll talk to you soon. Hugs, love, and peace. Bye-bye.